Woo-hoo-hoo. It's been a while. Welcome back, everybody. To the big yawn. To the Off Base podcast. Oh my God, I gotta pee. The podcast carefully crafted to remind you to suck a fat one if you think you're the only one. I'm your host. I'm the Rocky Mountain no-name Jackass. It is 0 fucking degrees in the city of Aurora at 7:58 a.m. on Wednesday, February 23rd, 2022. 23, yesterday was the big one. The big twos, 222. Fucking unbelievable. It's cold. Yeah, I'm bitching about it. Because my wife and I both grew up in climates along the Great Lakes. Fucking freezing, fucking snow. And we don't want to go back. This weather is fucking ridiculous. I guess we're getting into the dog days of winter. Is that a saying? I am a jackass. 0 goddamn degrees. Holy hell. Alright, enough bitching about the weather. I gotta pee. Start bitching about that. No, I don't need to bitch about that. I am hungry though. Gonna get my eggs and keto coffee upon returning. So I haven't done one of these in a while because last Friday I had off. Last Thursday I didn't do one because the kids were on a weather delay. So it was later in the morning, so it's kind of like, do I want to do one? I also think I stopped by for food on that day, so I didn't want to do a podcast and eat at the same time. I tried that before. It was horrific because I was chewing the whole time, and I was so hungry, my mind was on food that I couldn't think of anything to say. So last Wednesday I think was the last one I did one. So last Thursday, no podcast. Last Friday, no podcast. This past Monday, President's Day, no podcast. This past Tuesday, yesterday, no podcast. Why? The kids had off. So they got themselves a 3-day week. They had a 4-day weekend. And what did we do on that 4-day weekend? Well, my wife booked us a very nice room in Beaver Creek, Colorado. I think it was the town of Avon to be specific though. She found a great room. She had a great kitchen. I would have loved to have cooked, but she wanted to go out to eat for the whole time, and man, that was expensive. Oh, I'm making this turn. Yeah, we had some rather pricey meals. So, for the rest of the month, we're eating tuna and eggs, man, or the equivalent of. Anywho, stepson and I hit the gym last night. Oh, well, I'll get back to the skiing was great. My son had a great time. This was the first time that we went skiing that he didn't take a single lesson. And our friends met us up there. They are a couple years younger than us, but their kids are 10 and 7, I think. Either 10 and 7 or 10 and 8, and my son's 9. So they all get along extremely well, although they're 10-year-old. So there were times where we tried to ski together, all 9 of us, but that doesn't work because some people are slower than others. Some people are faster than others. My stepdaughter, she just looks so great on skis. She first learned to ski when she was 3 years old. Her balance when she's on skis is really, really good. My stepson's a good skier too. And our friends that we went with, Jesus Christ, they actually, both of them are fucking phenomenal on skis. Like, they can ski backwards. They didn't need to put their kids in lessons because they taught their kids how to ski. My wife and I, we can't do that. We are not that skilled. So they saved a ton of money right there, teaching their kids how to ski. And there were a couple times I got a chance when I wasn't with my son. My wife took him, and I took the olders. Excuse me. I took the olders down some blues and some black chutes. I can't do moguls. Moguls are not in my playbook. But the blues that we went down, man, they were nice. And some of the black chutes were really nice too. It was just so nice, you know, 'cause skiing with my son. He's you know, he's still a novice, so he got to ski slow, make sure that he's okay. If he falls, help him up if need be. Why is this car stopping in front of me? Coloradans are the worst fucking drivers. We got a green light, dude. You gotta go. Green means go. Fuck face. Anywho, yeah, getting a chance to just unload, man, on some speed on the skis was just a great feeling. And of course, I love getting the leg workout out of that. The day, so we got there Friday night, Saturday. I think, yeah, Saturday afternoon was when I finally got a chance to go with the olders. And the olders are my stepdaughter, stepson. They're 15, 13. And we just unloaded. My stepdaughter in particular just unloaded on this blue that we went down called Red Tail. Nice, long, wide run, steep parts. Oh, man. It's reminding me of Tom Cruise at Top Gun going Mach 3 with his hair on fire. I think that was the line. I think that was the quote. Speaking of which, when is that Maverick movie coming out? I'll go see that. Tom Cruise does not make bad movies, man. He's got like, I don't know, over 50 in his arsenal. There might be 2 or 3 that sucked. But in general, that dude makes good fucking movies. So, yeah. Just had a great day skiing Saturday, Sunday. Monday, we checked out of the hotel. We skied, we ate, and then I drove home in a snowstorm, in the dark, through the mountains. I don't like that. I'm too old for that shit. Give me some sunshine during the day. I don't mind driving through a snowstorm, during daylight hours. But at nighttime, oh, fuck. That is rough. Rough, people. So, some of the restaurants that we did go to, I was not impressed. And obviously, when you go to a ski resort, prices just get jacked through the roof, because they got to ship all the food there. So they got to, and if they were to charge, normal prices that you would charge in a city, they wouldn't make any money. They'd probably lose money. So they got to jack it up to pay for the cost of getting all the food there. I can't really recall anything that was memorable that we ate. The last day, the steak that I got, because it was about time on that last day to get steak and a nice glass of red wine. You guys know what I'm talking about. The steak had a bit of a lighter fluid taste to it, and that's not good. With the kitchen that we had in that room, I would have loved to have made, at least 2 meals. Oh, you know what? There was one good meal that memorable one that I had when we went out. The second night we were there, Saturday night. After the kids got all done skiing, our friends came over to our place. They dropped their kids off, and we went out to a restaurant. It was like kind of tapas-like. But they had some, full entrees on the menu, and I got mussels with this delicious chorizo and sun-dried tomatoes in it. Oh man! And the mussels were huge. They were like marshmallows, man. Very, very yummy. Have a nice white wine to go along with it. It's great. And we learned a fabulous new phrase The newest way to say I'm going skiing. The newest way to say that you're going skiing is you're going to go shred the Gnar. And we had a blast, 4 adults in their mid to upper 40s, using the phrase shred the Gnar. And if you've never heard the phrase or seen the phrase before, Gnar is spelled like gnarly, so Gnar, shred the Gnar. And I think the term shredding has been around for a while when it comes to referring to skiing. But shredding the Gnar kind of, gives it a throwback to the 80s, shredding the gnarly. It's just a fucking funny phrase. And we were saying it when the adults went out that night. We were just cracking up on that. Our friends that came up from Colorado Springs, they're just probably a perfect couple to hang out with, because they're the same age. They got similar age kids. We have similar-ish interests, and we just have a lot of fun together. We almost got kicked out of the restaurant because my buddy was it was so fucking loud. And we were kind of egging him on because what I had noticed at one point was that this was kind of like a Valentine's Day dinner that the 4 of us were at. My wife and I didn't get a chance to celebrate it because she was out of town. It was the day after the Super Bowl. She left the day of the Super Bowl. She didn't get back till Wednesday. So we didn't really do like a Valentine's Day dinner until this past Saturday. And I had asked the table, I said, all right, let's play a little game, kind of like a little newlywed game. I went around the table, I asked everybody what their favorite song was. Somebody asked another question, and then the wife of the couple we were with, she said, okay, what's your favorite date, or best date, not favorite date, but what is your best date? And my wife and I, we went through our answers, and then got to her husband, and his answer was the day of her, I think it was the day of her 21st birthday, when she passed out. And we were like, that's your best date? And the funniest part about it is that he identified it as his best date because of stuff that happened before the passing out. But all he focused on when telling the story was the passing out part. And the 3 of us just kept saying, this is your best date? And the story just kept going on and on for like 5-10 minutes. It kept getting funnier because that's all he kept talking about was the passing out part. And as he continued to go into detail and make the story funnier and funnier, and we kept pointing out that, this was your best date, we kept laughing harder and harder, which made him tell the story louder and louder. Until at one point the manager came over and said, oh, hey, we're getting some complaints over there. Can you guys keep it down? And we're like, oh, yeah. So we almost got kicked out. We were having a great time. And that's the thing too. So the next night, we all met for drinks at the Ritz-Carlton. Oh, fancy schmancy. And there was a guy playing guitar in there. And he started playing Garth Brooks. And my wife and I think the wife of the couple that we went with, we were singing along. I got friends in low places where the wits get drowned. So we were singing Garth with him. He was loving it. And then he asked if there were any requests, and I was like, the more I drink, Blake Shelton. But he didn't know that one. But the fact that we were enjoying ourselves, and it looked like, when you looked around the rest of the room, it was just, I hate to stereotype. I don't hate to stereotype, but I'm going to stereotype and say that the hoity-toities just looked like they were sitting back and absorbing the music and like they weren't getting into it, having fun. We sing along, shouting out, yeehaw, woohoo. You go out, you gotta have fun, man. So that was fun too. After we spent the day shredding the Gnar. So, coming up, what do we got? Stepson and I did our pool workout last night. P-U-L-L, not P-O-O-L. We did back, shoulders, and biceps. Exercises that focus on muscles that pull weight, as opposed to those that push weight. So we did our deadlifts. We did our shoulder shrugs. We did bicep curls with a barbell, and then did sit-ups in between. Both of our sit-ups are getting pretty strong, followed by pull-ups, and then lateral raises for the shoulders, pulling up, and then finished with dumbbell curls with elbows locked against a wall. And I was feeling pretty good about yesterday's workout. It was a good one. I fucking loved all the mirrors that are in the weight room. The CrossFit room that we used to work out in didn't have any mirrors. I love the fact that there's mirrors everywhere. So we got off today. We'll go back to Myro. We'll get our push workout in. And this past weekend, we didn't do our Saturday workout, which is legs. But we got such a good workout going down the blues and the couple blacks that we hit, that my quads and calves were certainly feeling it. It's not super sore, but just a nice pump, a nice sore. It was good. All right, it's getting a little overcast, which I like. I always like the overcast. I don't like the sunny snow days. I like the overcast snow days. So we got that coming up. I think my wife and I think she has bought us tickets to go see a new opera based on The Shining. And I actually quite enjoy opera. I got into it when I was in undergrad. I was a music minor. I have a minor in piano. And that's when I really got into classical, because I was also studying music theory at the time. So I think we're going to see The Shining this weekend. This is also a chili week. I'm making the chili mañana. There's one aspect of the chili that I forgot. I forgot to pick up kidney beans when I went to the store. So I got to go back. I'll get the kidney beans. I'll get some sour cream too for the chili. So the next little vacation that we have to look forward to is spring break. Excuse me. That'll be a week-long endeavor. Work-wise, when I get back, holy crap, do I have projects going on right now. They are piling up. And that's always a good thing. I'm fond of saying that there's never a shortage of work at my company. And there really isn't. Even when I have downtime, and that only really comes in October, November, December, I still have, projects that have been on the back burner that I'm able to jump on and knock out, which I did this past year. And it got the attention of some of the higher ups. They were like, holy shit, we wanted to do this going into 2022, but you already got started on it in late 2021. I'm like, yeah, that's me. That's your boy, the Rocky Mountain no-name Jackass. For some reason, I'm thinking about my parents. I don't know why. Something made me think about them. Huh, that's interesting. I don't quite know what. But I haven't talked to them in about a week and a half. I'll probably give them a call coming up, seeing how they're doing. They are back in a cold climate. They're back in Erie, Pennsylvania. And my mom was funny. I was talking to her the last time. She was like, oh, I bet you guys got a ton of snow there like we do. And I said, you know what, Mom, Denver is funny. It's funny because we can go 3-4 days, probably get 4 or 5 inches of snow, and then for like 6 days we'll have highs in the lower 60s, and all the snow will be gone. And it just keeps oscillating like that. And me, with my mindset, I have a rather concrete mindset. Flexibility is not one of my strong suits. But being concrete, as I am, that is a strong suit when you have tasks or goals that require that you push through them, that you have that endurance to push through them. So I can stay focused on tasks for long periods of time. Speaking of which, just thought of this. One task that I got coming up that I will be getting started on this weekend is taxes. My wife, when she was stationed in Alabama before she and I met, she bought a house and kept it and rented it out. And it was a good idea to do so because that particular area had a lot of turnover for military folks. So she has had that thing rented for like almost every month except maybe 3 or 4 since 2006, 7, 8. One of those, because I met her in 2009. So whenever she moved from Alabama to Virginia, she's been renting that house out. This past year, she sold it and just missed the deadline. All right, so she's had it for 15 years. So last year, 2021, 2006. But she just missed the deadline. Like there's like this thing where if you've lived in it, I think for I'm ballparking. I don't know the exact law, but the law is something like if you live in the house for 2 years out of 15, then you can claim it as not a primary residence, but as a lived-in residence, something like that. Whereas if you go past the deadline, then it's completely a rental property, and you have to treat it as such when it comes to taxes. She missed that deadline, I think, by 4 months. Like, she could have kicked her tenants out and said, I'm selling the house, but and she has a good business mind like that, but she's not that ruthless to go ahead and break the lease like that and put her tenants out. So I got to give my hats off to her in that regard. But she did end up selling that house at the end of 2021, which I think was a great move, because with the Federal Reserve now in tightening, well, they're not even in tightening mode, they're just in less accommodative mode. You're seeing just how fragile the markets are when it comes to Fed monetary policy. They're still accommodating the markets. They're still buying bonds. They're just doing it at a slower pace. And we've had interest rates at 0 now since the pandemic started. And it's like, come on, man. Here's a funny thing. And we're far removed from it. But while it was happening, while the pandemic was happening, and things were getting shut down, shutting things down, it's a big decision. And if as a government you're going to do that, you should compensate people who then don't have an opportunity to earn their living. That makes sense. However, if you're going to do that, if you're going to provide some type of assistance somewhere, you got to cut back in other places. So the government spending has just gone up and up and up, and now we're 30 trillion in debt, right? There were arguments back at the time when the pandemic hit. I think we're somewhere between 22 and 24 trillion. So we've tagged on another 6 here in the last 2 years. There were arguments back then that made perfect sense. Now, could we have done this argument? I don't know. But if if our leaders encouraged people to save, the pandemic would have been no problem. If people would have had the savings that would have, and you remember at the time, the whole talk was flatten the curve. And they said it was going to take about a month. Well, they didn't know. Nobody knew. But if you stick to that, if you're a family and you've got 6 months worth of savings to live on, a month is nothing. Same thing with businesses. Morning.
All right. Have a good day, sir.
Oh, thank you. He's not supposed to be sleeping. So anyway, the argument at the time was no, government, stay out of it. Stay out of it. Yeah, you got to close things down for a couple weeks, but if we had that culture of savings, putting your money into savings, like the Eastern cultures do that. It's Japanese and the Chinese. Now, I don't think their leaders are coming out and saying, save, but Japanese culture in particular, I think, I could be a jackass on this one, but they have a culture of savings. We don't. We have a culture of spending. More this. How many fucking eye products do you need? I got my iWatch. I got my iPhone. I got my iPad. I got a laptop. They're all synced together. Really? Do you really need all of them? Really? So anyway, I don't know how I got on this topic. Oh yeah, my wife's selling her house. So I think she sold. I was encouraging her to sell the property because of the inflation that we're seeing. It's very likely that we're going to continue to see high levels of inflation. However, as rates rise, because our economy and financial system is so distorted with governmental involvement, if the bond market gives the finger to the Fed and takes rates up to really where they should be if the government were not involved, then that's going to be great for my wife's sale of her Alabama house, because if rates rise, well, then people can't afford mortgages. You're not going to see a whole heck of a lot of buying, and prices for houses will certainly come down. So I think she got out at a really, really great time. Now, these cycles play out in terms of years, not weeks or months. But the fact that she sold when she sold, pretty goddamn good timing. So hats off to my lady on that one. All right, everybody, I'm making that turn in. I can't really see Denver in the mountains today because there's overcast skies. We're looking to get a little bit more snow later on, but I'm going to wish everybody a great Wednesday, and I will smell you